back to another episode, Halftime TV viewers and subscribers, and today we'll be talking about the 200 meters and what is to come in the World Championship in Budapest. But before I go any further, let me say a big shout out to my sponsors, Quicklink Shipping. Anything you need whatsoever shipped into the island, Quicklink Shipping has you covered. Telephone number 876-454-1979. Now, also, before we even go any further into the show, let me say a big shout out to the Reggae Girls as they secured their first point at the World Cup with a 0-0 draw against France, and that is a tremendous feat. I know folks will be saying, "Oh, but it's a draw," but it's a massive in the grand scheme of things. It's against France, and I think the Reggae Girls, Jose Mourinho, would have been extremely proud of that performance that they gave. Also, if you're interested in Reggae Girls content, please be sure to check out Talawa TV. A number of folks have been sending me messages through email as well as commenting on my videos asking for Reggae Girls content. So you can check out Talawa TV on Instagram. Big up yourself, Crystal, doing a great job over there covering the Reggae Girls through and through. Alright, so the 200 meters, and I think we witnessed what happened in London, and I know a lot of eyes were on the 100 meters, especially when it comes down to Jamaicans, because Sharika Jackson, our very own, was taking part in that one. And although Sharika didn't win that race, I think there were a lot of positives to take away from it. And I did a video wherein I asked what folks thought would be the outcome of the World Championship. Now, Shakara Richardson, she didn't take part in the race. She said she felt something in the warm-up and she pulled out at the very last minute. I think that is a conversation for another day, but it seems quite coincidental that a number of US athletes had pulled out from the London Diamond League meet earlier in the week, and then on the day Shakara Richardson pulled out. Not one for conspiracy theories, but it just seemed quite suspect in my opinion. Now, moving on to the 200 meters, and I think it was how do I put this? It was far more excitement than I had anticipated, and I know Jamaicans especially, we're not so fond of the sprint events for men these days, because Usain Bolt, he had set the bar so high and our expectations were up there, and then as soon as Usain Bolt hung up his spikes, it seems as if everything went downwards. But I must say, Ryan Knighton, Tebogo and Noah Lyles, throwing in Zarnell using there as well, it makes for a good matchup come the World Championship. And I'll narrow it down even some more, because I think going into the World Championship, Noah Lyles is the overwhelming favorite. He's expected to win this one, and in London he secured the win with 19.47 seconds. I think Zarnell Hughes gaining a bit of confidence right now. Ryan Knighton, he's always great. I think the US analysts and those who follow track and field in the United States, they have it Ryan Knighton as the next big thing coming out of the US track and field circuit, especially in the 200 meters. At one point there were so many comparisons with Usain Bolt that I lost count. But the Botswanian international, the youngster, Tebogo, I think the matchup between himself and Ryan Knighton for the years to come is something to be extremely excited about. I think going into this World Championship, eyes will be on Noah Lyles, but these two youngsters, Ryan Knighton and Tebogo, they will be there or thereabouts. Zarnell Hughes, as I said, he always gives a good account of himself. I don't know if it was because he's in front of home crowd on Sunday why he gave that magnificent performance, but I always expect him to do well, and I think in the World Championship he will come good. Now, going back through that race that took place on Sunday in the World Championship, in the Diamond League, we saw Noah Lyles with 19.47, and as I said before, it was a meet record and it was a world leading. This is the fastest time so far this year. 19.67 was the time he registered prior to that. We'll see how fast he can go in the World Championship, but I think he needs competition to push him all the way to the finish line. And in Tebogo and Ryan Knighton, I think they are more than competent place with 19.50 seconds. And as I said before, this was also an African record. So big time for the 20-year-old, and I know he will continue to shatter records. He will continue to push himself. Nowhere near his prime, and I can say the same thing for Ryan Knighton as well. Nowhere near their peak, and Noah Lyles in contrast to these two youngsters, I think he's just approaching his peak. So he has some big times ahead of him, and we will be seeing those at the World Championship, I hope. But I think the competition in the field is quite motivating. And from a Jamaican standpoint, although we don't have any athletes that I think at least will be competitive over 200 meters, I think it's good for the sport that we can actually see some competitive times being registered on the board. Kyrie King, he was fourth with a season's best of 20.01. But the first three, Zarnell used 19.73 national record and personal best. So we had two personal bests in this one and one meet record world leading time. I'm curious to hear what you, the viewers and subscribers, have to say. What are you looking forward to most come the World Championship, especially in the 200 meters? What are your thoughts on Letsile Tebogo? How about Tebogo Knighton? Do you think either of these two youngsters can pose a serious threat to Noah Lyles retaining that 200 meter title at the World Championship? I think these are questions that we will see the answers to a little bit later on, but I'm still curious to hear where your mindsets are as of now. So far, we've seen a number of Diamond League events, and we won't see any more before the World Championship. The next time we see all these gentlemen taking the track will be at the World Championship, and I know you can't wait. I can't wait either, but we will have to keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, because I know that if all remains the same and if all these gentlemen remain fit, then the World Championship will definitely be a spectacle, and it will be one for the history books. Also, for the years to come, I think the sport or the discipline is in good hands in the form of Tebogo Knighton and Letsile Tebogo. That could possibly be a matchup for the next decade or so. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Please share it down in the comment section below. And remember, if you haven't done so as yet, smash the like button and subscribe to Halftime TV. Until next time.